Hello everyone, this is CoinsKid. Hope you're well. Hope you're having a good Wednesday and hope you have a really good rest of the week. If you're not a member of the Telegram group, do head over to that group right now. The link's in the description below. There's a lot of great content over there. Yeah, so head over to there and become a member of the CoinsKid community there. We're thriving, we're buzzing, we've got some great technical analysis in there. Posting trades that they see and take on various different projects. There's some really good content in there, guys, and I really appreciate all the content and everything that you're sharing in there. It's really good that we're building that community now, moving forward. So once again, thank you for all the sharing, likes and everything else that you do for the channel. And yeah, please, let's just keep evolving and growing in this space and learning. I've learned so much just from the people posting in the Telegram myself. You know, it's all good, it's all good. So we're just diving into the Bitcoin chart right now. As you can see, we're on the hourly time frame, and on the hourly time frame here, we did paint something that looked like a inverse head and shoulders. Okay, so we broke down into it, and we formed this shoulder here, and then we formed the head, and then we formed another shoulder just there. But we did actually break out, and we've come back into this pattern now. So that's almost an invalidated inverse head and shoulders, so I don't even know why I've shown you that, but I did. But anyway, it looked like it had broken out, back tested it and was pushing through. But to be fair, we look quite bearish on Bitcoin at the moment, especially on the hourly time frame. We've got this bearish cross just here, okay, and it's just been pushing us down. We almost come through it, through the break of that neckline on the head and shoulders, on the inverse head and shoulders there. But we do, to be fair, we do look like we're coming down to test this support line. So what we're going to do is zoom out now on the time frame here. So look at the daily chart. So we're jumping into the daily time frame here, and you can see we are literally coming on this multi-day trend line here. Okay, guys. So you could see that we are on the daily. We're bouncing. We'll have a couple of tests off this 20 EMA here on the daily time frame. So it's proving really critical at the moment as a level of support. And you can see we're getting multiple touches there. We have 1, 2 bounces. We are coming down. It is perfectly healthy. Don't forget, guys, it is perfectly healthy to make these retraces. You know, Bitcoin's got really far away from the 55 EMA here, especially on the daily time frame. So we could even correct even more. Okay, a larger correction is not off the cards. But what I do want to pay attention to, if we do lose the daily time frame, okay, the daily 20 EMA, then I would expect this support line here, which is acted support on the way up here twice, multiple times really, for Bitcoin on the daily. I would expect us to fall through and then potentially get a bounce from there. Okay, as you can see in the RSI, there is a bit of a divergence. Okay, so on the daily time frame, we had that high and then a higher high just there, as you can see, and then in the RSI there, we had that high and a lower high, and that is actually a bearish divergence. It means that potentially, not all the time, but it's something that you should pay attention to, that the price potentially rolls over to reset. Okay, so that effectively has played out because we had that high there, the lower high in the RSI, and then we actually did roll over. So at the moment we look like we're just coming down to test support for Bitcoin. The MACD, as you can see, it's reasonably high. It's just turned bearish there, so we are potentially looking at more downturn for Bitcoin, potentially coming down to test this support line. Failing that, if we was to drop out of that support line, it would look relatively bearish on the daily time frame, and a test of this 55 EMA would definitely not be off the cards there. So that is definitely something to target for Bitcoin. But overall, we are in a bull market. We are in an uptrend. Just on the lower time frames there, we are looking like we are bearish. Okay, and it's just basically a reset. You know, touch base. I like to think of these candles as rocket ships. They go up like that, and they have to come back down and refuel. And you know, each time they come down, the lower they come down, to these lower time frames. For example, that's the 20. It gives it less fuel to go back up. So you only get 20 liters of fuel. And it's a stupid analogy, I know, but it theoretically works. You know, as you see us bouncing off the 20 here, we get less and less power. But what we do, if we actually touch the 55, we're getting 55 litres of fuel for the rocket ship, and you can see the kind of power it gives us to push up. So potentially, you know, you're running out of steam the less you touch it, and then the more you come back, the more steam you're going to get. So effectively, we are looking at a 55 EMA retest if we was to fall any further, guys. So that's something that you do need to target. Failing that, we may have just come down to the Fibonacci levels now, and we may be refueling off of 20 and may push up to test this high here. I would imagine that we would run into a bit of resistance just there, guys, if we was to push up from this point. You know, I did make a video yesterday on Bitcoin pattern that's playing out as noticed by Mariah Monetize. Do please check that video out. I've made it in the channel with a link back to her video. She's a very interesting lady, that some of her ideas that she's got on the cards there. So yeah, do pay attention to her YouTube channel. I have dropped the link in the video of that video. So basically we're looking for a retest, okay, push up, get rejected off this high, come back down, test the EMA again, and then make the new high, taking that one out and pushing up towards 79k. That's what the video is basically about, and at the moment we do look like we are doing that. That is playing out to a T, so that's definitely something you want to pay attention to. Please head over to that video in the channel. Okay, so that's Bitcoin. Not much else to say than keep an eye on these levels moving forward and these EMAs. On the daily we look really bullish, okay? On the 4 hourly not so, and then on the hourly look really bearish, okay? So we are just retesting these levels on the daily. We'll just drop the fib on this now and see where we've come to in this retrace here. So we've gone up there, as you can see, we've pushed up from this low. We formed this impulsive wave like that, and we are just coming down. We're bouncing off of 0.5. So again, the higher you bounce up in these fib levels, the stronger the trend. So if we was to get a bounce here and just move on, it would be still a really strong trend for Bitcoin, okay? Failing that, you come down and touch this support line and it sits on the 0.618. If we start to lose that, the fib levels on that retrace there, you potentially coming down and testing this 55 for Bitcoin. So that's just Bitcoin. What I'm going to do is jump into the Bitcoin dominance chart right now, guys. Right now we're in the Bitcoin dominance chart, guys, and we do keep an eye on this in the channel because this is a very important chart indeed. Because what happens in this chart, as you can see, we do have alt seasons, okay? When Bitcoin's losing dominance, it's when alts are picking up, and you can see if we jump back many years ago, we'll put it on a weekly time frame so you can get a bit bigger picture of what we're talking about. We have covered this multiple times in the channel here, guys. So basically on the weekly time frame here, I know it looks quite squashed up, this chart, but Bitcoin was going along, okay? It had no competition as such. You know, there was fairly little competition to Bitcoin from its inception. As the years go by, you know, we had Ripple come out, Bitcoin Cash, various other projects, and Ethereum. And Bitcoin dominance, if you look to the right, that you can see the valuation of it. So it's up there at 98% crypto market dominance. And obviously all these altcoins were born and they came along. And then this led, if you look at the date below as well, so 20th of March 2017 was one of the biggest alt runs ever, because we had all these alts that came into inception, and it just pushed the Bitcoin dominance down. And the whole year it had bounces of levels of support, obviously bounced back up, but it just failed and failed and failed. And even at that point, when we're having these alt seasons here, where the entire crypto market cap was growing, Bitcoin was still growing, but there was such an influx of money coming into the space that it actually pushed Bitcoin's market cap dominance down, okay? And so we bottomed out here in January 2018 when we had that major capitulation in crypto, full stop. And then Bitcoin obviously has been picking up ever since. But along the way, we have tested this support line here numerous times, okay? So this is a very important line to keep an eye on the logarithmic scale, on a weekly time scale here. And as you can see, we are literally touching base with it. So we'll zoom in now on the daily. So what could happen here is that Bitcoin dominance loses this support line and potentially pushes down to previous support. So we could be looking at a massive push in the alt market. So alts could start to pump and Bitcoin realistically either crabs or goes down, okay? So it's a very critical time. If you look on the Bitcoin chart here on the daily time frame, you can see that it's testing this support here, and we have been trading in this symmetrical triangle, guys, okay? And I do say to you that if you're coming down into a symmetrical triangle, you know, it is usually a continuation pattern. So theoretically we should see the Bitcoin dominance push down. Failing that, we'll get a bounce and Bitcoin will just go up and test support up there as resistance, where it hit that ceiling there. So it's very important chart to keep an eye on, guys. Definitely keep an eye on this Bitcoin dominance chart. That's why we're adding it into the content every day for you to keep an eye on. So at the moment, you can see a couple of days ago we were really pushing up. Well, more than a couple of days ago, I made a video about the dominance, how we just looked like to be hitting our head on this 55. Okay, these 55s and 20, in my opinion, are the best EMAs that you can have in your technical analysis. If you start dropping more in, then you're confusing yourself because there's too many of them. So these are a low level and a high level of exponential moving averages here, and sometimes you can drop the 200 in to see where you are on the 200, because that's also equally a very good moving average to keep an eye on as a level of support when you are pushing down. So as you can see, we are actually under that as well. So at the minute, Bitcoin looks super bearish since it fell under the 200 EMA. It's failed to get back above that. Okay, so at the minute it does look like we are being pushed down for Bitcoin dominance. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on, because this, if it falls out of this symmetrical triangle here, we will see a big pump in alts, and I do believe that we are seeing that today in Link and various other projects. So yeah, we could be on the cusp of a mini alt run, so to speak, or failing that, we may see a bounce here off this level of resistance here in this symmetrical triangle, off this level of support in this symmetrical triangle, and we may see Bitcoin do something like this. It's getting so tight in there, okay? And usually when you start to come towards the apex, what happens is you get a narrowing, okay, of the price, of the action moving up, of the candles moving up and down, and then boom, it breaks out, and then the momentum is with the way of the breakout. So that's Bitcoin dominance. I'm going to take a look at Ethereum right now for you guys. So we do keep an eye on Ethereum because obviously it's the king of the alts, okay? You can see that we've got that high up there, which we're targeting. We need to get back up there. We do look like we're progressively going towards it. If you look on a daily time frame, we're moving up. We're nicely bouncing off this 20 EMA here, acting as support, moving up. So daily, Ethereum looks super bullish, guys, back testing support, and we look like we're potentially moving up towards that high and hopefully take it out. And then we have those targets up there, which you know about in previous videos. So definitely something to keep an eye on. If we zoom in on the 4-hourly time frame here, so on the 4-hourly time frame here, we do look reasonably bearish. We broke down, we've come back up, and we are hitting our head on this 20. What we've got to be careful of here, guys, is a bearish cross forming on this EMA, because if we get that bearish cross there, you can see what happens when you get the bearish cross. It's just a cascade, it pushes you down. Okay, what we could do with here, we formed that bullish cross there, which was really good for Ethereum, by the way, seen as surge up, come back tested the 25 as support, got through it, looked like we were going to the moon and up to this previous high, and then obviously because of Bitcoin it capitulated, and we corrected quite drastically there for Ethereum. I think from that point there we fell down almost 12%, which is a large move for a market cap of Ethereum size. So basically we broke back up, and we're now hitting our head, and as you can see we are actually under the 55 EMA on the 4-hourly time frame. So we do need to see a pump for Ethereum to get back above this 55 and the 20 on the 4-hourly time frame. And what we may see here, okay, what may happen here is just a simple retest of EMA support. So what potentially we could see here is this EMA coming down, bounce off this 55, just to confirm we are in an uptrend. The price action moves above both EMAs, and we just get that nice retest of the EMAs, which is perfectly healthy, it's perfectly normal, and we do need to see that retest of the EMAs where they just sort of touch each other and then bounce off each other, they repel each other. Failing that, if it forms a bearish cross, then you are looking at a larger correction for Ethereum, and then you could potentially be targeting previous highs down here as we do drop. That would be a previous high there. That's a previous high there as well. So they would be levels of support that we potentially fall down to. You can see we hit a level of support there and bounced up, so that's positive. But we do need to see a push through these EMA, guys. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just take a look at Ethereum versus Bitcoin. Okay, so Ethereum versus Bitcoin, you see we fell out. This is on the 4-hourly time frame versus Bitcoin. You can see we fell out of that falling wedge there. We broke out. We tested the bottom a couple of times as support, and then we made our way back up. We've actually formed a double bottom just there, okay? And then we've moved up, got through the EMAs, formed that bullish cross, moved up, correction, formed a bearish cross, pushed us down. We are now potentially looking at a very similar setup to that at the moment. We have got above the EMAs here, as you can see. We're above both EMAs, which is really good. But what we need to see is the 20 get above the 55, form that bullish cross like it did there, because you can see the power that gives the move. And then you could see a probable appreciation in Ethereum versus Bitcoin of over 10%. So you could see that come. From the looks of it, Link looks to have pumped a little bit today, so we will take a look at that in another video, guys, if you want to check that update. So at the moment it looks good. What we probably will see though is a back test of this, because you see we fell through that, we pushed through that a couple of days ago, got through, it's looking really good, and then obviously Bitcoin kicked off again and Ethereum fell back and fell through, but it has come back through. Okay, so you may be looking at another EMA retest before we do actually take off. So you may see something like that and then push up, and then you may see this bullish cross form here, okay, on the EMAs for Ethereum versus Bitcoin, and that would lead to a pump in the alt. So like I say, that Bitcoin dominance chart at the moment, it looks like this is going to happen, but you should never assume anything. You know, you could get that bounce right there at that bottom test of support for Bitcoin, and Bitcoin takes off and alts just do this against Bitcoin. So it's really important time at the moment. We're days away from a breakout in my opinion. So I hope you enjoyed that video. Please do smash the like button, and also subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, and also please do head over to the Telegram group there, guys. Have a good day. Catch you tomorrow. Bye bye. And sorry, just to add onto this video, I do apologise, but usually I do Cardano in this segment as well, but I wanted to do a bit more coverage on Cardano today, so I've made a separate video for that. You will see that in the channel list if you've come to this video looking for the Cardano update. I did it earlier, it's probably 2 videos down, so yeah, please check that out if you're looking for the Cardano update. Take care guys, bye bye.